What's up guys, it's your boy Matt and we are back in the garden for another episode. I don't know why I got this hoe in my hand. Hate calling the garden tools hoes, but the garden tools love it. But here we are guys, we're outside of the Mars Hydro 2x4 and the 4x4, but we're going to be showing you guys something we're doing in the 2x4 because today we're going to be breaking all the rules again and doing another miracle grow run, baby. You know what it is. Alright fam, so here we are outside of, or inside of the Mars Hydro 2x4 tent, and we got this little honey banana cutting which we got and we showed you guys on our last episode, but today we're not necessarily going to be focusing on this. What we're going to be doing today guys is a little bit of a transplant and taking you guys over to the cloning station, because what we got right now are a bunch of cuts which we've literally got rooted. The roots are absolutely crazy and they are all ready for soil, so we're going to be putting them into these little 1-gallon pots right here. I got a bunch of them. We're going to be using our very nice green Mars Hydro tools right here. That's where the little hoe and the shovel comes in and all that. But most importantly and interestingly and probably most controversially is that we're going to be running it all in potting mix, Miracle Grow potting mix to be specific. And a lot of you guys know potting mix, Miracle Grow, it can get a bad rep in the industry because of the owners, the Scotch Grow people, whatever. Also just because it has pre-built nutrients mixed in here, and it typically feeds your plants for about 3 to 6 months, I think, and for some folks it may be too much. It may run hot and may burn your ladies, but for me, I've actually used it in the past. As a beginner, it's something you can find pretty much anywhere. It doesn't matter if you're at a hardware, a grocery store, even the freaking dollar store, you can find this Miracle Grow potting mix. So right here, what we got is a big bag. This is a 55.6 liter bag. That's about 25 quarts, I think, if my math is correct. Correct me down in the comments down below. Actually, I think it's 50 quarts guys. So yeah, what we're gonna do is pop this bag open, get the pots ready for the transplant. Before we do any of that, let's take you guys over to the cloning station and show you all what's going on, because those roots are out of this world guys, absolutely crazy, and we had them in there for like 2 weeks. So the Mars Hydro cloning station, absolute fire. Let's head over there. Alright Joe, so here we are outside the cloning station, and the cloning station really doesn't need a whole lot. It's literally just the Mars Hydro aero cloner and it's sat on top of a bucket. That's pretty much all it is. But what I really like about this is that it's an all-in-one unit. It's got the light right up here, and it's also got the reservoir with the little holes, so everything that you need. And for me, the actual bubbler stopped working, so what I did just to supplement the bubbles is use one of these little air pumps, a tube, and I run it straight through with an air stone, and the results are fantastic. Guys, have a look at this. Let's go ahead and pop straight in. As you guys can see, the roots are absolutely crazy. Now all of these cuts are from the same plant, and the roots are so crazy it's getting quite stuck up down here. Now these are all from the same plant. This is all the white Gary, which I took a bunch of cuts off, and you guys can see we have roots. Houston, we have roots. Now when it comes to the air stone is really useful just to add supplemental bubbles to your system. The bubbles really help oxygenate the water and pump out that root growth, and that's probably a big reason as to why these roots are literally off the hook. So let's go ahead and get these all out and get them set into some soil, because these babies are hungry and they are ready for soil. Now for some of you guys, a lot of you guys ask, what do I use in terms of feeding when they're in this? I usually use Clonex, a little bit of this liquid clone solution. It actually helps to give these ladies exactly what they need. It's a really light nutrient solution, but it's perfect for seedlings and cuttings. So for me, this works absolutely great in this little hydroponic reservoir, and honestly, I don't need to do a whole lot. The only thing that I do need to do from time to time is either hit it some pH down or some pH up, because the pH, depending on where you're at, you may need to go either up or down. Now for me, the pH out of my tap is usually about 9.5. So for me, I usually have to use the pH down, and I have to get it to a range of about between 5.5 to 6.5. That's the optimal range to uptake most nutrients, especially for your cuttings and little clones. So for me, between 5.5 and 6.5 pH is fantastic, and pH down really helps me to achieve that. So let's go ahead and get these into the 2x4 tent, because damn, these are ready for transplant. We got some crazy white roots on here. So there are a few things that I do want to say real quick. While Miracle Grow may not necessarily be the best option out there, it definitely is a workable option, and that's pretty much what we're doing right now. It gives you a good base of which to work with: cocoa, peat moss, that sort of stuff. It's not a bad option at all. Obviously, there are different levels to this. You know, if you guys really want to get really in depth, you can get some really expensive mediums and soils. This is just easy, affordable, and something that a lot of people can find pretty easily. So that's why we went with it for this run. And as you guys can see, it's pretty comparable to most other mediums out there. You know, some of this medium I've found, what I'm seeing is a lot more of these little barky pieces compared to other mediums, so maybe that's something to keep in mind. But little pieces like this actually help with a little bit of aeration, so it may not be necessarily a bad thing. But that being said, let's go ahead and have a look at these roots, because that's what we're here for. Let's go ahead and get these ready for transplant, because guys, these roots are so crazy right now. It's out of this world. We just want to be careful taking them out so we don't cause any damage. And again, these are all the white Gary, so let's go ahead and get these out. And as you guys can see, some have rooted a lot more than others. Like this one right here, it seems like there's one main root point, and it's just grown a lot of roots off of that one root point. So this one I may not actually even keep around. I may just leave it in the cloner or something for a little bit longer, you know. But you guys can see where these little nubs are forming. That's where the roots are actually going to come out of. So we'll set this one off to the side just for now. Let's go ahead and get these other ones out. Now in comparison, you guys can see this has a lot of crazy root growth, a lot of root growth at a lot of different points actually, and it's sort of becoming a really nice white tangly net. You know, it looks pretty good. And the same with this one, a lot of differing root points, and that's why it's so important to take multiple cuts, guys, because you never know which ones will root good and which ones will not root so good. Yeah, another one. This one has probably like the longest roots of them all. Again, looking really nice, really solid, some really nice roots on here. Amazing root growth, guys. And this is just water and some Clonex solution. Always pH your water. You can get the best results when you pH your water, especially when it comes to cloning. And here we go, another one. This one has a lot of points as well, and you guys can literally sort of see where the stubs are forming, those little white stubs, and then the roots literally protrude out of that. That's why we call it propagation. You force those roots out. So we've got quite a few cuts here which is successfully rooted. And here's another pro tip, guys. We're going to use some paprika. OGs to the channel will know this is not actually paprika. This is some mycorrhizae. This right here is actually a little bit of recharge mixed with some mycorrhizae. So use code icanthc. Shout out to Scotty. He'll hook you guys up with a nice little discount on your recharge. Real growers recharge and real growers know. And there you have it, guys. Just like that, all the transplants are completed. Everything's looking good in the tent right here. We just got to do a little bit of a watering. Sometimes when you buy a fresh bag of soil, it can be really dry, and that's the case right here. It's really bone dry. So we're just going to give it a little bit of a light watering. Nothing too heavy, because again, these are all little cuts, little clones, but it's important to water them because they were clones which were propagated in water. So just taking them out of water and putting them in bone dry medium can be a prescription for trouble. You can literally run into tons of issues, and you can even end up with some dead cuttings, and I don't think you guys want that. So it's important to make sure that you water them thoroughly, not overwater them, but water them thoroughly so that it's not too much of a shock going from a really moist, watery, wet hydroponic substance to a more dry, bone dry soil substance. So let me know what you guys think about all that. That's it for today's episode, guys. We got some crazy roots, transplanted them all, but before we head out, I do want to show you guys something up here, because this is that Mars Hydro SP3000, and if you guys had seen our previous video, definitely check it out, the MJ Berlin vlog over at Mars Hydro. They got some new products, and those new products are amazing. They got new carbon filters, new lights, all sorts. So definitely check it out. Let me know what you guys think about that in that video. Drop some thoughts and comments, and I'll see you guys over there. Much love, and we'll see you guys on the next episode.